Hey everybody, Michael Minson here with the Level Up Group at Keller Williams Luxury International Real Estate. Let's talk about whether or not we're in a housing bubble. Stay tuned after the break. Hi everybody, Michael Minson here. We get a lot of questions from our clients about whether or not we're in a housing bubble. There's an undercurrent of fear running through a lot of clients' minds, thinking maybe I'm at the peak, maybe I'm going to be caught up in a crazy bidding war and overpay, maybe I'm going to buy and the market's going to fall out. How long can these prices sustain? How much higher can the market go? Those are very common questions we get. So I wanted to take a few minutes today, share my thoughts with you on where we're at in this current housing market and where some of the fundamentals are pointing that might indicate where we're heading. So without further ado, I'm just going to share my screen here real quick. So the question here, we're in a real estate reality check. Are we in a housing bubble or not? Short answer, no, we're not in a housing bubble. There's some fundamentals at play here that I think are worth mentioning. First, there's three macro events happening around us right now. First is low inventory. Second, population growth. Third, low interest rate environment. First, let's jump into what's going on with inventory. San Francisco, the Bay Area is perpetually in a state of low inventory. If we look naturally or nationally, we can see this is the amount of homes that are available for sale on the market in any given month. Go all the way back to July of 2015, what you'll see is that we have been consistently having less and less and less inventory year over year after year, to the point where we're 65% off from where we were only 6 years ago in 2015. So in 2015, we had almost 1.2 million homes available for sale. This month, July, or last month, July, we had 422. So that's 65% off. That's a big number. And as we all know, and basic economics tells us if demand is fixed and you have less supply, prices will go up. And that's what we're seeing here. San Francisco, Bay Area, a little bit of a different story, but similar theme. A consistently low inventory or consistent inventory, and we all know it's low. So what this chart is telling us that every year or so, we have a pretty predictable wave of inventory, more inventory, less inventory, more inventory, less inventory. But what we're not seeing is an increase in inventory, where we're seeing it pretty flat. And if you really parse this data tightly, you can see that that our peaks are getting less and less each year. So inventory is not increasing in the Bay Area. So then let's look at what's happening with new construction. How are housing starts, how are housing units being delivered to the market? Well, before the previous recession, 2006, we had a high of roughly 2,250, give or take, new homes being introduced into the market. We had a big recession, everybody's aware of that one, and then we have still not reached even the low point of the previous high of right around 1,500 units. So we're just shy of 1,500 now, coming into July of 2021 or August of 2020, sorry. So new construction is down about 33% from the peak. So let's look at what's going on with population growth. We all know millennials are here. They've been coming. We've been talking about them coming for a long time. They're here. They're the largest home buying demographic that we've seen since the baby boomers, and they've eclipsed the baby boomer numbers. So millennial, just for context, people in the 22 to 39 age bracket, it's a whole bunch of them, and they're buying a lot of houses. And so not only are we seeing inventory being decreased, we're seeing demand being increased because you've got all these people in their prime buying age. Interesting to note, as I was doing research here, millennials, Gen Z, and post-Gen Z, I hope they come up with a better name for that, make up over 50% of the population in the United States right now. So fun fact. What we're seeing in the population growth is population is still growing, and everybody needs a place to live. And so we're going to need a lot more houses. Over the next 40 years, we're expecting 75 million new humans to join us. And that even though the population, we hear population growth is slowing, that may be true. It is true according to this graph. The rate at which the population is increasing is slowing, but the absolute number of people being introduced into society is increasing. So we've got a increasing forecasting high demand needs for a long time. Average US population growth. So if you take these 75 million humans over 40 years, it's basically 1.875 million humans per year, just annualized. We're only creating 1.287 million new homes per year. The real problem, the real housing crisis is more an affordability crisis. We've got 92,000 homeless Americans as of 2021. Fun fact, hopefully Biden's infrastructure bill will pass. They've got $213 billion allocated towards the creation of 2 million affordable housing units. So that will help. That will help a lot. But the real problem, as I mentioned, is affordability. So the median income from 2012 to 2021 grew 41%. This is nationwide. However, the change in home prices eclipsed that by 2.5 times. Right? So the median home price grew 108%, whereas wages only grew 41%. That's one of the big reasons that we've got so many homeless people. People are getting priced out and they can't afford to live where they want to be or where they can be. So that's a big challenge that we got going on with demand. Let's talk about financing, low interest rates. Interest rates are at an all-time low. We've been saying they're at an all-time low. We keep seeing new lows. Right now, they're hovering around 2.87%, which isn't the lowest of the low, but it's pretty darn close. These are average 30-year fixed interest rates. The recent high was in December 2018 when it was 4.87%. So we've seen interest rates come down 2 full points or 200 basis points. That's like 42% off. So a 42% off or almost half off sale on your cost of mortgage, you can look at it as buy one, get one free. It's the same math. That's a big deal. And let's look at really just how big a deal that is. Let's say you're buying a $1.5 million house in 2018. Your mortgage payment with these metrics here would be about $7,900, $7,934 specifically. If you were to buy a $1.5 million house now, $1.5 million house today, in August 2021, your mortgage payment, if you got the average or the median interest rate, would be $6,219. So $6,200 versus $7,900. Big difference, $1,700 a month or $20,580 a year. So when we say that interest rates affect housing prices, it's one, because you get some savings in there and lower costs of money. More realistically, it's buyers can now afford more home. And so if you can afford an $8,000 mortgage payment, but it's only going to cost you $6,000 because of the time of when you're buying it, you may decide, hey, I'm going to actually spend $7,000 or $6,500 or $7,500. Maybe I'm not going to go the full $8,000 because I may be conservative. Maybe I will, but I think most people are probably going to go a little bit more because they can and money is cheap. And the way that translates here is $7,900 mortgage payment in 2018 bought you a $1.5 million house. That same monthly payment, $7,934, using today's interest rate, you would be able to buy a $1.9 million house at the same cost of money. So that 200 basis points reduction in interest rates translates into a $400,000 increase in buying power. That's serious money. Let me repeat that. A 200 basis point increase in the interest rates on a $1.5 million purchase translates into an extra $400,000 increase in buying power. That's the power of interest rates. That's why we see prices fluctuate, increase so much. We've got low inventory, we've got high demand, we've got very cheap cost of money. Prices are naturally going to go up. It's just math. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. In San Francisco in 2018, we saw median sale price was 1.6. A couple of years later, 2021, we're now seeing median prices have appreciated $200,000. The same time period, the same metrics from before, 2018 versus 2021, we're seeing a $200,000 increase in median purchase price. Coincidence? I think not. A couple things about what we're expecting from an outlook for interest rates. In July, the Fed decided to hold interest rates at their floor at 0 to 0.25%. That's the cost of money from the government. They're holding it low because they want to make sure that the economy is able to grow and we can get people employed and get people back to work and keep the economy going, recover from the COVID fallout. The consensus from the real estate economists that we know at National Association of Realtors, at Housing Wire, Realtor.com, they're all expecting rates to inch up a bit, but not a lot. So probably in the low 3s. That's going to decrease buying power somewhat, not materially, probably not too significantly. Things to look out for. So if you feel like the sky is falling, if you feel like the real estate market's going to gobble you up, or you feel like the world's going to come to an end, about your real estate world anyway, look for how many of these signs are actually in play. If they're not in play, you're probably fine. Jobs and wages, that's the big indicator. Unemployment is going up and wages are going down. That's a big red flag that the housing market's right behind it. We're not experiencing that right now. If you see a decrease in population or an increase in housing inventory, that's a sign that probably the fundamentals are going to change. We're definitely not seeing that. If you see an increase in interest rates, okay, now that's something to be aware of. If you see rapid appreciation or rapid increases in interest rates, then we might have a problem. We're not seeing that. The Fed is incentivized, the government is incentivized to keep the interest rates low because we want to boost the economy and keep it growing. Key takeaways: we're not in a housing bubble. We are in an affordability crisis. Demand will continue to increase as population grows, as wages grow, as unemployment decreases. The fundamental issue here is that supply is not keeping up with demand. We've got a housing shortage. Interest rates are low, but will likely inch up. Over the long term, economic forces are dictating that prices will continue to appreciate. So if you've been thinking about buying, if you're on the fence, you're not sure what's going on with the market, you're afraid something might happen, the fears we spoke about in the beginning of this discussion, get in the market as soon as you can. That's a key lesson that I've learned over seeing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of transactions. Get in the market as soon as you can. Get your foot in the door. Once you're in the door, you're able to ride that appreciation wave and not get run over by it. The key to growing wealth in real estate is to be in it. You cannot grow wealth by looking at it from the sides and complaining. No offense. Second point, don't wait for a market correction. It's probably not gonna come in the near term. And if it does, most people freeze up and they hold on to their assets, they gather up they protect their job, they hide in the blanket, and they don't go out and make $1 million purchases because it's too darn risky. The uncertainty, if you think the uncertainty now is too great, why do you think you're going to be able to make a huge investment in a wobbly market that may be decreasing, where there's opportunity, right? So don't wait for a market correction. Probably isn't going to come, and you're probably not going to be able to take advantage of it if it does. Third, don't sell unless you can do something better with the money. So if you currently own real estate, hold on to it. It's going to continue to appreciate. If you can leverage it, use it to buy other real estate, that's even better. But unless you need to sell in order to upgrade or downgrade or acquire other assets, maybe diversify, those are all great reasons to sell. But don't sell just because you think the market's at a high and you want to take advantage of it and go become a renter. Probably not a great strategy. Fourth, vote for pro-housing policy, please. We need more housing. We need to get the homeless people taken care of. We need to get more housing, more affordable housing out for everybody. Housing is not just a financial vehicle. It's not just a wealth creation vehicle. It's a fundamental need as we as humans. And so it's really important that we create more housing. Fifth, send me your clients and referrals. Send me your friends. If we can help you with any real estate related needs, we're here to help. My name is Michael Minson. Thanks for watching. Give us a call, anything you need.